morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you are watching this video. Welcome back to Half a Men Talk. This is episode 3 of Walk with Shane. Okay, so first things I'm going to do, I'm going to clarify some comments I made last week, which unfortunately, as I predicted, unfortunately some people took offence to. So as I said last week, I pulled off all social media, bar for Half a Men Talk, obviously. Deleted a lot of people. It was more of a case of just to narrowify. So you know what Facebook's like, you know, you still need it, unfortunately, for information, family members, etc., whatever, right? Okay, obviously they call you if it's really important, but I've kept it, as not got rid of it completely, because obviously I've got photos, you know, there's stuff on there that I want to keep, but I have got rid of a lot of people on there, and I did class them as Deadwood. Now, what I meant by that was, and I mean, look, I shouldn't have to explain this, but if you'd watched and listened properly to the video, you would have heard me say it's basically people that you haven't seen for God knows how long. You know, people that you don't, even if you saw them in the street, they wouldn't come and say hello. You know, the people who obviously I speak to, yes, I deleted a lot of people that I know. It wasn't intended to offend them. It wasn't intended. It was literally clear. I've deleted a lot of people who I would class as friends, but in my head I don't need them on Facebook because we communicate in other ways, right? And what shocked me and surprised me was how much power people put into Facebook. We're not friends on Facebook, we must be enemies. And unfortunately, I've had a few people, there was some I didn't mean to delete. I've deleted wrong names, and I've reached out to them and I've apologised to them and said, look, you are not in that bracket, do not class you as Deadwood, you know, sorry, la la la. But what was striking for me is how many people I've got offended by it. They're not reading into it as in Shane's doing this for himself, he's trying to come through this battles he's fighting. They took on a victim mentality. Oh, fuck Shane then, if that's how he wants to be. Not Shane's hurting, I better reach out. That ain't crossed their mind. So that I find that really revealing, we say. I find that very revealing, how people took it the wrong way. And you know, I've had a few scenarios this week where I know people have seen me and just drove on, or they haven't bothered to come and, you know, call me out on it, or even, whether you think I'm right or wrong, you know, even you'd expect your closest friends to, you know, get hold of you and call you out, Mitch, what are you doing? What are you doing that for? La la la, you're acting like a dickhead, la la la. None of it. So that being said, the reason of doing what I'm doing is because I'm struggling. I'm not doing too good. Let that be the first and foremost in your mind. Whether I'm making the right decisions or not, time will tell, but by these people's actions, they're making it worse in the way of like, but to be fair, actually, I'll take that back. They're not making it worse. They're actually making it better. As painful as it's been, like, and it has been stressful for me, it has been painful. You know, friends who I thought were friends haven't reached out. And, you know, people who I didn't really assume would reach out have reached out. So it really clarifies the whole sort of situation, and it's made, if anything, it has focused me. It's focused me, and it's made me think, right, okay, forget all that noise, because people's lives go on without me, or whether I'm here or not. It's not it's irrelevant. But I have to think about myself, which I said in the last video. So that being said, let me clarify, because I'm not going to talk about it anymore. So I just want to clarify a few things. One, if you've been offended by my video last time, it's not my intention to offend you. Two, if you have been offended and you thought we were good friends, or etc, then I apologize, because I did not mean to offend you. I'm trying to do this for me. I'm trying to excuse me. I'm trying to make changes. I'm trying to get focused again, trying to recalibrate my life. And if you couldn't see that, if you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. And lastly, look, like I said, no, I'm not going to say that. But like I said, the intention was not to upset anyone. Okay, the intention is for me. My words were probably poorly used. I was angry. I was feeling upset. It's been a tough few months, and I suppose when my friends go silent, I reach out. I can hear that silence, and I've been silent, and no one's reached out. And it took that video for people to go, "Oh, fucking hell, Mitch is in a bad way." And like I said, the real ones have reached out, when the other ones just played the victim. Well, fuck Mitch then, if that's how he feels. But they didn't really understand what I'm trying to say. And I wasn't trying to individually dig people out. I wasn't individually trying to upset people. That's not the intention at all. So, that being said, I'm going to draw a line under that. We'll see what happens going forward. By all means, if you feel, like I said, if you feel I've stepped out of line or upset, ring me. Let's hash it out. If not, if you're happy, you're obviously happy before not being in my life. If you're still happy not being in my life, then that's it. Let's move on. So that's all we're going to say on that. Okay, so some of you might have noticed different walk. Now, my mum told me, says, "Why do you always go the same walk? Do the same move, mix it up." I said, "All right." I said, "Did it offend you walking up that hill?" She said, "No, just mix it up." I said, "Yeah, that's fine, I will." So, hence why I mixed it up. Now, I don't know if you can hear the vehicles. I'm literally walking right next to the dual carriageway, so it is loud. But, just mix it up. Mix up the route, as we call it. I'm actually going through some woodlands, so it might be a little bit different for me. Okay, stop chatting shit. So, what I want to talk about is, obviously since last week, obviously I've mentioned, so since Thursday, so it's currently Sunday today, so I went for my first run in a long time. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone thinks they're fit until they've actually got to run. And I was blowing at my ass. I was stop, start. So the walk that I go on, that was my running route. So I've tried to run up the hill as much as I can. There's a lot of walking. And then I run down the hill. I've done that 6 times. And it works out roughly 2 miles. Right? So the first run, I started, to be fair, I did start running from where I parked the truck. And then obviously, I start from the hills, but it's 2.5 kilometers. It took me half an hour. So I screenshotted it and I sent it to my missus. It's like, "Oh, I just went for a run, what do you think?" And she's just ripped into me. She's like, "Oh," I said, "Oh, was that fast?" She's like, "Not really, no." He said, "Oh, it was that slow. The app at the top, it says outside walk, outdoor walk. So it's that slow, it thinks you were walking. I was like, that's nasty, that's bullying. But I'll take it. So anyway, so Friday, went for a run. And it's a little bit quicker. Still nothing to write home about. Still blowing a bit. Still get a bit of pain on my shin, on my left shin. Tightens up. Do with some advice on how to strip that out before I go running, because obviously that's not ideal. And I went for a run yesterday. And I've done 2 miles yesterday. And I've done it in 28 minutes. So, again, it's not setting the world alight. I'm not going to be running any marathons down in soon. But, yeah, I enjoyed it. And, well, I didn't enjoy it whilst I was doing it, Jesus. But when I stopped and, yeah, felt better for it, I know exercise is key for mental health. And I'll keep at it. I'll keep doing it. I'll keep running. Keep dropping the PBs. But no, but my point is with it, I put the music on and I blast it, and got me really thinking and really, you know, I know that's the biggest problem. You can overthink, especially me. I do overthink. I know I overthink as well. But it gave me a few sort of ideas moving forward on how I can sort of focus my life. So yeah, let's get into that, shall we? Okay, so everyone knows diet and exercise is important for mental health. Yeah, we all know that. So I've been trying to eat a little bit better. Like I don't drink coffee on an empty stomach. That's a massive no-no. So I try and eat something before you have a coffee, or maybe have coffee just a bit later on in the day. Wake up in the morning, you know, I get out of bed. You know, don't check my socials first thing, because most people when they wake up, the first thing they do, they get their phone and check their socials. You know, they're checking their Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters, TikToks, whatever, right? They're checking all that. Now, what you're basically saying to your brain is just starving for attention. So you're waking up, oh, I need to know what's going on in the world. I need to know this, I need to know that. Just straight away it takes your brain away from what you need to be doing on that day. So I'll focus now. I'll get up. I've been going to Costa in the morning, so I'll take my laptop and I'll just start, like if I'm on the road that day, I'll take the laptop and I'll start doing emails, and I'll just, you know, get focused on that. So like I said in that last video, I go on beast mode, be the best salesman I can. Trying to work out ideas, trying to work out deals, you know, stuff like that. Focusing on work. And then, you know, I'll come home, try maybe an omelette or something for breakfast. Or I'll go straight out. Or I'll have some toast or something. I know that's still not, you know, the best thing to do, toast, but white bread. So I need to switch up with that. But, it's difficult because physical health is easy. And what I mean by that, I don't mean it's easy, because it's not. I mean, it's lying down, run, weights, cardio, weights, whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's it. But just do it. How do you work on your mental health when you don't know exactly what's causing it, or you know broadly, but you don't know exactly what's causing it? So, you know, you do different things and see how that sort of pans out. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, it can't hurt, can it? It's like, what's that saying? There's loads of sayings. So I always like the one, nothing changes if nothing changes. And it's so true. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So I'm doing the same things as before, and I'm just in a bad way. So let's cut it out. And I know, like I said, I know it's going to upset some people, but you know, they're not the one that's living and breathing my life. You know, I am. So that's one idea. Okay, so another idea. There's a bit of an inspiration from my mate Rich, and I don't know if he still does. Leave a little comment, Rich, if you do. But journaling. Writing in a journal every day. How you feeling, who's upset you, etc, etc, right? So I'm going to start doing that. Just writing down my feelings as opposed to, letting them out verbally. Because the problem is, it's like sending an email or text. There's no context, is there? Like, you don't know how that word has been spoken. So a lot of the time you can take it however you're feeling at the time. So if you're feeling a bit shitty and you read an email that might seem a bit aggressive, you're taking it as aggressive. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start journaling. Yeah, I'm not too sure about it, but we'll give it a go. So yeah, just a couple of ideas. I haven't got hundreds of ideas, but it's just something I need to do every day. Don't dwell. What will be. And who knows where I'm going to be at mentally in another couple of months. I just want to clarify a few things on that as well. Like, I know I've said I'm struggling, and I know I said I'm hurting. Now I know there's a lot of people out there who's, in real bad ways, and I know you should never compare feelings or compare situations. But the difference is, for me, obviously I'm documenting it for a start, which is pretty public. A lot of people don't like people to know their issues. And like I said in the last one, I'd be a hypocrite if I don't talk about my own issues. But I've started this. I have to finish it. Like, it's no finish. Like I've said, personally, again, this is an opinion, I don't think you ever beat depression. You just learn to deal with it better. And I think the problem is with depression, it glazes over all the good in your life. You don't see the good. You don't see the little small wins you have, because everything's negative. Or say something good happens, you doubt it. You're like, oh, was that really good? Or la la la, right? And I think a lot of the times when we do something good, it's the emotion involved with it. So let's just say, I know it's a little bit, but let's just say, for example, your favourite football team scores a goal, and that joy, like you start cheering, right? Now, when you get to a point where you're not even enjoying that, you just go. You're happy they've scored, but that's gone. And that's what I'm feeling at the moment, is that. All right, just one last thing before we go. I just want to bring this up because it's a really good point. A friend of mine said to me, one of the 3 people who contacted me to reach out, and he's like, give me a bit of bollocking, rightly so. One of the things he said to me is, all right, Mitch, it's like, what happens when you've sorted your brain out, you sorted out your mental health, you're back on board, then what? What happens to all those friends you lost? Like, are you going to ring them up and say, I'm back now? What if they don't want to speak to you ever again, this, etc.? And it's a really good point. And my argument was like, well, if it's got to a point of months down the line and I've sorted myself out a bit, or put steps in place to, to move forward, if I haven't spoken to those people by then, or if they haven't reached out, or for whatever reason, and it wasn't meant to be, was it? Those friendships weren't meant to be. And that's my argument. Like, I'm too old to be playing these fucking games. Like, people, do you know what I mean? Like, everyone always moans how they don't do nothing, this, that, and but when you try and you don't get nothing back, it's difficult. So in my head, I'm like, when I'm back, and I will be, trust me, am I worried? Am I worried about not speaking to these people again? And don't get me wrong, this hurts. All through your life you build friendships and etc. I'm not doing this to upset anyone. I'm not doing this to, blame anyone. I'm doing this for me. I have to do this for me. But don't get me wrong, I know my actions have made it difficult now to speak to people, because they'll always have the back in their head like, oh, am I deadwood? And yes, like I said, my choice of words wasn't the best, and I apologise for that. It wasn't meant as Deadwood. It was meant literally people I've never seen or haven't seen in 10, 15 years are still friends. They don't like my posts. They don't share my posts. They don't support my Half Men Talk. They don't support me in any way whatsoever. Deadwood. And I know there are people I've also got rid of on there that do share my stuff and do like my stuff. Yes, I get it. I wasn't getting rid of them because of that. I was getting rid of pretty much everyone, bar a few select few and family that are on Facebook that are just purely for communication. That's it. It's not a personal issue. It's not personal at all. It's just literally getting rid of Facebook, getting rid of socials, and just winding it down. Doesn't mean that we can't still be friends. And I don't want people to think like that. I know they will. That's why I've just got to let it lie. And like I said, there are a few people who I thought would have contacted me, haven't. But I can't force that neither. I can't go, why don't you ring me? Because they might be hurting by it, and you know, it's going to naturally come to a head. But I have to respect their feelings as well. Like I said, I have upset people, whether rightly or wrongly, or you know, that's irrelevant right now. But yeah, so like I said, I will try and finish all lighting out, and I've took some wins from this week, and you know, like I said, I managed to get sleep. God knows how long. So you know, hopefully that's going to help me think straight. Yeah, we'll see how that pans out. But appreciate you taking time to listen to this video. I know it's a bit of a long-winded one, and I know there are probably a few people who clicked on this purely just to see what I talk about because of last week. They probably aren't even stayed to the end of the video, and I think that's what a lot of the issue was last week, was people just heard what they want to hear, not read between the lines. So all good, and thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next week. Ta-ra.